I'm James, and I'm from 360 Cycles. There's just a little picture of me mountain biking, as I think that's fitting for today's session. Um, so just to go through who 360 Cycles are and what do we do. So we're on a bit of a mission to get Dublin cycling more than ever. We're service driven, which means that we put our customer service number one in our organization. We're only in business since 2013, so relatively new compared to some of the bike shops, but we're eight or 9 years, I think, now on the scene. And in that time, we've partnered with Google, Workday, Clontarf.ie, and some other businesses, to name a few. Essentially, we're a bike shop built for riders, by riders. And don't just take my word from it. I do invite you in the next 1 minutes, have a look at our Google reviews. I think there's only 9 bad ones, which I think we are pretty proud of. So yeah, we're 4.9, almost to 5 stars. When I say we're service driven, we really are. So yeah, just to walk through within 360 Cycles, we kind of have 3 experiences or elements to our business that I think would be useful for you guys to know. So the first one is our workshop experience. So we're proud to just be one of 12 Shimano service centers. So you might know Shimano from your own bike. They probably do the gears or the brakes on your bike. So Shimano offer a service center certificate, and it's quite a prestigious thing in the bike world. And there's only 12 in Ireland of, I think, 550 bike shops. So we're pretty proud of that to have under our belt. So all of our mechanics who start working in 360 have to go through a Shimano service center course before they touch a bike. Even if they come to us with 20 years experience, we always try and give our customers the most up-to-date mechanical advice from the experts in the trade. So our team in the workshop that you hopefully will experience at some time in your journey on 360 can tackle anything from a kid's bike all the way up to a Tour de France bike. We've had a few of them in the shop, some ex Tour de France bikes, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we want to just, as experts in the bike trade, want to share experiences that we can with your bike. So to go on next to our retail experience that you will probably, if you come into the shop, you'll get. So as I said, we only started in 2013, and when we opened the door, we had just 2 brands, which was Merida Bikes and an Irish distributor called Huey's, and they distributed, I think it was gloves, tires, and tubes. There wasn't an awful lot in the shop. A couple of years later, we're proud to boast 6 different bike suppliers, all the way from kids' bikes up to, as I said, the really expensive carbon road bikes that you might think of when you think of cycling. We also have 150 sub-brands to supplement that. So we have distributed all around Europe and in the US as well to supplement things like, as I said, gloves for cycling, helmets, locks, anything from Garmin Garmin GPS units and turbo trainers and all that stuff. So we have a good bit of brands there within the 360 portfolio, I suppose. And like our mechanics, our sales team go through regular training with our suppliers that we're giving you the correct advice and the most up-to-date advice, because it's a bit of a changing industry, and every couple of months there's something new in the tech world for the bikes. And also we have another part of our retail is our bike fitting. So in that picture there of the lads in the snow, on the very left is Mike. He is our bike fitter, and I'm actually in training as well for that at the moment, but the 2 of us will do bike fits. So essentially fitting you to your frame, to your bike, and making sure that you get the best out of it. So just a little side statistics. In 2020, we helped 2,689 people start their cycling journey. This is all new customers who come in to buy a bike from us for the first time. Within the 12 months following their purchase, 2,146 came back for a free service. So that's something you get in 360 Cycles, is 12 months of free servicing from us. I'll talk about that later. And the third experience that you might come across, which hopefully you will, because after this event is finished, I'm going to, in the post-event email, send out a bit of a discount code to you guys to use on our website, which I'll share with Saoirse and Christina afterwards. So unlike most bike shops in Ireland, we do actually have a full e-commerce experience that you can get. So orders over €40 are shipped for free, and bikes are delivered fully assembled to your door. So if you live in the top of Donegal or down in Mallinhead, or sorry, down in Mizenhead or Mallinhead, we'll get the bike to you fully assembled. So our website boasts all the products that we have mentioned earlier. They're all competitively priced as well. So we have a price match policy as well that we run. So if you can find it cheaper elsewhere and it's not on a discount or special offer, we'll match the price, no problem. And the stock is all live. So if it's in stock on the website, we have it. And just before I go on and talk with the Cycle to Work team and talk a bit more about 360, I wanted to share a bit of a story that we backed. I think it was in 2018 we started this project with. That's Niall, Stephen, and Cormac. So these three guys, they're quite good friends of mine, and they came to us and said, "Look, we're looking to cycle across America in aid of Pieta House and Bodywise." So Bodywise are the National Eating Disorders Association of Ireland, and I'm sure we all know Pieta House as a mental health and suicide prevention organization. So when the guys came to us, they were looking for 3 bikes to take them across on that journey. COVID hit and the pandemic set in all these restrictions, and the guys couldn't go to America just with visas and entry into the country. So they pivoted to Europe. But I'll just share a little story, which I think is quite nice of 3 guys on their journey on their bikes, which I'll just share. I have a video, just make sure you guys can hear it. So just before I go on, if anyone wants to just put a thumbs up in the chat that you can hear it. You can search it, or Christina, if you could just let me know. Yeah, cool, thank you.
Hi, my name is Cormac.
My name is Stephen.
And my name is Niall.
And on the 1st of September, myself, Stephen and Niall are cycling 6,000 kilometres from Achill to Athens in aid of Pieta House and Bodywise. I always had the idea of cycling across America by bike, and about 2 years ago it came pretty strongly into my mind, and about 18 months ago I decided to go for it. Obviously then the pandemic came, so we had to pivot and go to cycling across Europe.
So this 6,000 kilometre bikepacking trip of ours is a self-supported trip, and basically what a self-supported trip for bikepacking means is everything we need to survive for the 2 months we're out is on the bike with us. It adds a bit of a challenge to what we're hoping to do. So we've been very lucky to have the Sport 360 cycles since day one. They've sourced all 3 of our bikes, they've sourced a lot of our gear. A trip like this probably wouldn't be possible without the bikes that we've been sourced from 360. The lads here have been phenomenal.
I suppose the reason why we're doing it for Pieta House and Bodywise is they're 2 charities that lie very close to our heart. Me personally, I struggled with an eating disorder for years, and I only really got treatment for that this summer. So Bodywise are the National Eating Disorders Association of Ireland, so they've been very good to me. So myself and the lads probably wanted to try give something back to them. So there's a nice kind of personal touch to it, which kind of will make the tough days a bit easier, I suppose. Is that all right?
Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, so that's I think it's a nice little story of the 3 lads who took on a huge challenge, and they didn't mention it. Niall briefly touched on it there about what they actually did. Like they camped for the whole thing, for the most part of it. Like I think they stayed in 5 hostels along the way, which just it's incredible. Like that they did 160 kilometers one day, sleeping in a tent, and get up the next day and do 180 kilometers across the Alps. Just blew my mind. So we kind of followed them on their journey all over the 58 days. you know, we had a tracking link on our website and stuff, and it was great. I think as of this morning, I think it's 46,000 euros so far they've raised. You know, so I just think it's a cool story to share, and there's a lot you can do on a bike. And Niall will always talk about the freedom of a bike gives him when the three guys have done. They cycled for life around Ireland. They've done the perimeter of Ireland. Done a few other challenges along the way. And I was actually really lucky to join the guys for their Achill to Dublin spin, and it was great just to be there with them. And yeah, I just think it's a great story to share. This workshop is all about the Cycle to Work scheme, which allows you to get a new bike, and it allows you to enjoy some of the freedoms of a bike. You might not probably cycle around America, Ireland, or definitely probably not from Achill to Athens, but you might experience the same sort of freedom that the three lads had on their bikes. So to move on to Cycle to Work team, what is it, how you can go about it, and what we can do as 360 Cycles for you and your employers. So essentially, it's really easy. it's breaking into 3 steps. You got to find the bike, which is the hardest part. With global bike shortages and all that stuff that's going on now, it can be a little more difficult. We do have lots of bikes available. So essentially, you find your bike, you reserve it by putting a deposit down or holding it in stock. We then generate an invoice, which we'll pass on to your employer. And then once the money is in, you enjoy a new bike. And just to go through the scheme, how the best way to describe how the scheme works is, if you can imagine you earn 100 grand a year and you do the scheme for 1,000, it takes your gross wage down to 99,000. So that makeup where you would have paid the tax on that on that extra €1,000, it's not, the tax is not taken by the government, I suppose. So some people always come in and say, I need the Cycle to Work scheme form, or I need a form from you guys for my employer. That's not really a thing in my experience. There's only one form you might have to sign, and that's a salary declaration form. If you partner with us, if your employer does, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, we can speed things up a lot. So just some things to note, and I made the bold assumption that you're probably all watching this on a laptop. So take out your phone and scan the QR code, and you'll be able to check out all of this in detail written on our website there. So just some things to note. The scheme, the upper limit of the scheme is €1,250 for a normal bike. That's without a motor. If it has a motor, it's 1,500. You might have seen there's a draft legislation now at the moment for e-bikes and e-scooters. That doesn't affect the scheme in the slightest. It's available every 4 years. So in August 2020, the government released a new update to the scheme, which gave us the extra €250 for normal bikes and €500 extra for the e-bikes, and dropped the scheme then to every 4 years. And you can save up to 42%. So if you're in the higher rate of tax, it's 52%. If you're in the lower rate, it's 31%. But regardless, you're still saving money on the scheme, no matter how much you earn every year. An interesting one as well, I was doing some research ahead of this presentation last night, and I came across a national transport survey that was taken out in 2019 by the Central Statistics Office. And only 15% of people take a journey by bike. And of that, only 2.2% of people take a journey to work every single day, which is like just crazy. So just some essentials to go through, and I can see there's 1 or 2 questions. If you don't mind, I'll get to them at the end, just to go through some of the questions on it. But just to, again, take out your phone and take a scan of that QR code. It'll bring you to our essentials that we have. So if you think of your commute, you want to get a bike and you want to get your accessories that wants to make you cycle to work every day. Like if you don't have the right rain gear, you're not going to cycle when it's raining. If you don't have the right lights in the mornings when it's dark, you're not going to get in the bike. You're going to get the bus or you're going to drive. So you want to avoid that and try and give yourself and set yourself up for a good cycle into work. So my bike is just sitting over here, and what I have on it is just a nice set of lights that light up the road. Obviously a bike. I don't need a lock because I leave it in the shop, and I wear a helmet, of course, every single day. And I have a frame bag on my bike, which I put my laptop and my bits in. So there's a little essentials list there, and I'll share some contact details at the end. If you do want to go by the scheme, you can reach out to me and we can talk through what works for you, or any of the team will be able to help you with that. So I mentioned earlier about partnering with us and becoming a partner of 360 Cycles. So you personally, as a as an employee, you can avail of the scheme through us without having any sort of partnership with 360 Cycles. But if your employer does decide to partner with us, here are some of the things we can offer. So this is a virtual workshop, which we're offering to Iconic members, but we can also offer this for your staff as well. So we can run for your whole company globally or just in Ireland. We can just kind of talk through about cycling. We want to help your employees through the scheme. So by partnering with us, you will get, your employees will get 18 months free servicing from our team. So we'll extend that by 6 months for you. We'll do bike fits for you if needed. You get a €55 welcome credit to us, and you'll get a 20% off online orders for 3 days after any of our workshops. So that's what I'll be emailing over to you guys now. So thanks for joining. And our in-person workshops, which we're actually heading into the masonry tomorrow to do repairs of the office. And I'll talk about that at the end, if that's okay. So this is our promise. We want to bridge the gap between what is a cycle to work scheme, how do I go about it, what's a bike, to your employees or you guys riding a new bike and feeling confident and comfortable on your new bike on your way into work every day. So for the HR team, here's what we can really help with. So as I said, repairs at the office. So coming into into your workspace or Iconic and offering and setting up shop and doing repairs on the spot for the day and kind of giving an in-person help as well. Because I know these virtual events are fine, but also sometimes speaking to someone one-to-one is a nice little touch to have. So there's no cost as such for involved with this as well. So we'll come in and help you guys as well. We also offer bulk invoicing and 30-day credit terms. So instead of processing one invoice after another at a random time, we can do end of month and you can process all the invoices that might be there. And we'll give you 30-day credit terms on those as well. We also have a cycle to work portal for your employees to come to us through. So it's all tracked and you can manage your invoices that way as well. And as I said, you get a 20% discount on our online orders. So I will have a look at the chat now and just go through any questions. If you want to have any questions, if you have any questions for me, you can raise your hand now or just speak, and I'll just have a quick look at the questions there. Give me a second. If you're primarily a work from home employee, can you still avail? Yes, absolutely. No problem with being a work from home employee, as long as you're on the payroll. That's all it is. So it's nothing to do with where you work or how you cycle your bike. There's no stipulation as such in the scheme that okay, it's for employees who are cycling to work. You don't have to cycle to work to qualify for the scheme. It's like your tax save relief card that you might get. You don't actually have, you can use that tax save relief card to go into the pub on a Friday night. You don't have to use it going to work. So if you're a work from home employee, absolutely you can still avail. And another common question is, if I want to buy a bike that's above the scheme limit, so the scheme is €1,250, I want to buy a bike with €2,000. Essentially, the first €1,250 comes from your employer, and the extra €750 will be paid by you by card, cash, check, or Bitcoin, whatever you want to pay. 1 second, give me a second there. There's a minute of Norway, there's more innovation in Ireland. So e-bikes have skyrocketed. Yes, e-bikes have skyrocketed here as well in Ireland too. Yeah, they have. I live in London. How does it work for me? I'm actually not too sure how the UK government do that. This is kind of more for the Cycle to Work scheme in Ireland. But if you want to drop me an email, just James at 360 Cycles. I have a couple of colleagues of mine in the UK, and I can just ask them if they've any advice, and I can fire it over to you as well. Jack's asking if you can pick your bike or is it the employer? No, it's up to you. So your employer, by partnering with us, I'll just go back to a few slides. So when I say partner with us, all you're doing is your employer. It makes it a bit easier for your employer and yourselves to have a dedicated shop as the Cycle to Work scheme as it processes. So no, you pick your bike, you pick your accessories. You also, if you partner with us, doesn't mean your employees have to go with us. There's no contract or anything. It's just, this is an offer we'd like to extend if you do want to partner with us. So no, it's completely up to you to pick the bike and accessories. And thank you. Sounds like a great opportunity. I hope it does.